And thank you to everyone who took the time to join today. We know your schedules are busy, and we definitely appreciate your time. So I also have Christian Ruoff. He's our Global Support Manager. He's on with us today as well. And so the way we're going to do the webinar is we're just going to kind of go through a quick overview of SEP, kind of who we are, what we do, what we focus on as a company, and then we're just going to jump into a live demo portion. And I think that's probably the more interesting part of things. But again, just want to give a quick overview to those who are not familiar with us. And also, just as a quick introduction, my name is Lanai Bain. I'm Vice President of Business Development and oversee our direct sales channel and also our channel partners in North America. So welcome, everybody. Going to go ahead and just give you a quick overview of SEP. We originated in Germany in the late 80s, so been around for about 30 years. 20 years of those we've been focused primarily on backup and disaster recovery. Made an entry into the U.S. market about 5.5 years ago, and we've been growing very quickly and have had very good results since then. So there's a lot of backup solutions out there. So why would someone want to choose SEP versus another solution? Just want to kind of go over a couple main things that we focus on as a company. So the first main point is what we find when we talk to folks is that they're using typically more than one solution to meet their needs. So a lot of times we'll find somebody who has a solution in place for Linux, a different solution for Windows, maybe another solution for virtual technology, or maybe they're trying to use a SAN or something to do backups by doing snapshots, and they don't necessarily have one main product or one console or one central interface that they can go to easily manage everything in their environment. So what SEP brings to the table is that ability. We're able to support a very wide range of products, and so we can kind of bring everything under one umbrella and offer an enterprise, one central management console, one user interface that looks the same, whether it's on Linux, Unix, Solaris, whether it's on a Mac. There's no difference. Everything looks the same, and everything is the same process regardless of the operating system. The second thing that we focus on is performance. So because we're able to leverage multi-streaming technology, we're able to back up multiple streams of data to a single media at the same time, drastically reducing backup windows, and overall, I think we see performance increases above our competitors, typically anywhere from around 50 to 98%. So we usually see at least double the speed, if not more. And a lot of that is going to depend on hardware and networks and things like that. I mean, if we're backing up over a T1, we're probably not going to see too much of an increase in speed. But if we have, the infrastructure and the environment to work with, we'll always see a speed increase with our solution. And the third main thing we focus on is reliability. SEP's whole concept and whole model is set it and forget it. It's a software that the whole program is 54 megabytes. It's very simple. It's very easy to install, very easy to configure and set up, and very easy to use. So once the solution's set up and running, you really don't have to go in and babysit it. The whole point of the software is to just be installed, be configured, set up and work, and make somebody's job easier. Kind of as an added bonus, it's not something that we necessarily focus on as a company, but I include it in here because I do think it's important. Kind of a fourth added bonus is the cost. We usually come in at about 40% of industry average, so we have very good and very quick ROI. Just a quick overview of some of the operating systems, applications, databases, groupware, virtual technology that we support. There is quite an extensive list of things that we do support. These are some of the more popular ones here. So as far as going from left to right, as far as operating systems go, you can actually install the main backup server on Linux, Windows, or Solaris. So you have, a very wide range to choose from of operating systems. It's pretty much any flavor of Linux after kernel 2.5, any version of Windows after Windows 2000. So it could be, Server 2003, Server 2008 R2, 2012 supported as well. So there's, quite a few options to choose from there. As far as applications go, all the Microsoft products, Exchange, SharePoint, some Novell stuff, GroupWise, and also Lotus Notes. All the major databases are supported as well. And then on the right-hand side, we also support all the major hypervisors. So we're able to do image level backups, image level backups, or whether those are warm backups or cold backups. And what we mean by that is if we have, if the VM's up and running, or you can actually back up the VMs while they're shut down as well. We can grab the memory state. There's a bunch of different things we can do with those. So we communicate directly with the APIs for VMware, Hyper-V, and Citrix Xenserver, which gives us quite a few capabilities, and we'll touch on that again in a second. So getting back to the multi-streaming, some of the things that we do are a little bit different than, I guess, traditional backup software and things that folks are normally used to. So just a good example of that, I think, is in relation to the multi-streaming and how we schedule things. So instead of going through and scheduling a bunch of different servers, whether they be, physical servers or virtual servers, really doesn't make a difference at all. As we see a push towards, more virtual technology in almost every environment now, that type of backup concept hasn't changed for us at all. It's still the same. So, and the way we do things is we'll group everything into different backup tasks, and so we'll pool all the tasks together, and we'll have a task group, and then we can have individual tasks as well. So the concept behind that is starting all of the servers backing up at the same time rather than just starting a few. And so that way we're able to maximize our throughput. We see very high performance numbers, and the example that you see right here with the 9 servers on the left-hand side, not only could we start all of those at the same time, but we could actually dial those in a little bit more and get a little more granular scheduling, so that we could have, for example, all the databases starting, and each one of those starting on a separate stream, and then we could do all the files on yet another stream, and then et cetera. So we can back up, you could even set it by drive. So we could have all the C drives in a group, all the D drives in a group, down the line. So just from these 9 servers, it's possible we could have 30 or so backup streams running all at the same time to maximize the bandwidth and give you the best performance possible. Just a quick couple examples of some of the ideas that we've been talking about, and kind of some real world examples of what that looks like. Vodafone, they are they're the partner company of Verizon in Europe. They're using us to back up 1,500 sites remotely right now, and they're adding another 4,200 sites over the next year and a half. So again, very good example of being able to manage a lot of remote locations in, very geographically dispersed from one central management console. Another example of that, the Guardia Civil in Spain. They're kind of a cross between the Spanish FBI and state police, I guess you can say. And they use us around the country, enterprise-wide as well, at over 450 sites. A little bit closer to home, U.S. National Archiving and Record Administration. This is a great example of multi-streaming and how that works. So their previous backup solution was backing up their enterprise email system and was taking over 6.5 days. So we installed SEP, and the first full backup we did, I believe, was 13 hours. And then after we did a little modification and tweaking on the network, we were able to get that down to 11 hours. So overall, backups went from 6.5 days down to 11 hours. So again, perfect example of the multi-streaming coming in, doing a very good job, just decreasing backup times, increasing performance, and just getting the job done quickly. Port of San Diego, another very good example of that, and we have hundreds of examples of this. It's literally, we have, I don't know, probably 40, 50 case studies that kind of go in and show the different times and the benchmarks and everything. But above and beyond that, we just get feedback from customers all the time about how their backup window was cut in half, or even more sometimes. So in the case of Port of San Diego, their backups went from over 100 hours with a completion success rate of about 60%. Those backups went down to 4 hours with near 100% completion. So, they went from babysitting a product to putting in SEP and just having it work right off the bat, and having their backups, complete 100% pretty much every single time. And I think the thing that we're most impressed with was their Oracle backup. They had a fairly large Oracle environment, and their Oracle backups decreased from 4 hours and 40 minutes down to about 42 minutes, and they were very excited about that. So a couple other things that I'll touch on real quick that are included in our solution. We do have archiving included as well. We also have deduplication, and I put generic drivers in here. And what I mean by that is we don't create our own drivers for hardware. We just rely on operating system drivers. So any type of media that's recognized by an operating system, we're able to back up to. So, we get a lot of questions, hey, do you support this kind of SAN, or, XYZ tape drive, or, and the answer is basically always yes, as long as that media is recognized by your operating system, then we can back up to it. So obviously advantages for that. We've worked with folks in the past who have an old LTO3 in a closet or something, and they say, oh, you guys will support that? Our previous solution wouldn't. And they'll pull it out and put it back into production, and use it at a remote location or something. So, or on the other side of that, somebody gets a brand new SAN and says, hey, do you guys support this technology? And the answer is right away, yes, we do. You don't have to wait for us to come out with a custom driver to support that. We also offer bare metal recovery for Linux, Windows, and Windows workstations. So we can basically just get a bootable image of a physical server, and then you can spin that up on similar or dissimilar hardware, depending on what's going to be the easiest for you. As far as virtual environments go, we touched on this a little bit before, but just a couple things I wanted to point out. Everything that we do in the virtual realm is 100% agentless. So you don't have to go and put clients or agents on the virtual servers that you have. All we do is we connect to the main interface. So for Citrix, it would be Citrix Xenserver. For Vmware, it would be the vSphere server. And so we basically just authenticate with that technology, type in username, password, and then it just goes through and it'll auto-populate all of your host machines and list all of the guests that are on those host machines. And again, in the demo that follows, you'll be able to see exactly what that looks like, and you'll be able to see what the different operating systems look like running on different types of virtual technology, and kind of what those backups and restores look like. So we'll run through that and give you a good overview. But just to touch on a few things, with Citrix Xenserver, a lot of folks have activation loss problems, and what that is, if you're not familiar with that, is if you have a Windows machine running and the Windows machine gets shut down or blown away or whatever, and you go to do a restore, it will ask you to enter in your Windows license key code. And then once you enter that in, any third-party software that you have on the machine, you'll have to relicense and re-enter in the product key code again. So by bringing back the same SID and MAC address, we're able to bring that machine back exactly the way that it was in an identical state, and so you don't have to enter in any of those key codes again. So for environments like hospitals, insurance companies, hedge funds that have SLA requirements, it makes it very easy to get VMs back up and running very quickly. On the VMware side of things, couple things that we do. We do communicate with VADP. We also do VCB if anyone's still using VCB technology, but obviously, for the past couple of years, VADP. And also we have change block tracking, so we're able to back up, virtual machines and do a full backup, for example, on the weekends, and then break that down and just do incremental backups during the week. So it saves quite a bit of time, quite a bit of effort, and obviously quite a bit of storage space as well, just doing the incremental backups throughout the week. And with Hyper-V, VSS aware, and works the same as VMware and Citrix. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and switch over to a live demo. I think that's probably going to be a little more exciting. So if anyone has any questions while we're transitioning over and want to ask a quick question on what we've covered so far, please feel free to do so, and then we'll also do a quick Q&A after the live demo portion as well. So if you guys do have any questions, you can just type those into the Q&A box on your Cisco WebEx console. And we will go ahead and switch over to Christian here.
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me.
Yep,
yes,
sounds good, Christian.
Perfect. So, yes, first of all, I don't know how much minutes do we have left for today, just that I know.
Yeah, I think you're at about 20 minutes, so we should be perfect.
Okay, great. Yes, welcome, to my little live presentation of the CSUM of, I think one of the most famous backup tools you will ever have. And let me start with a little technical description about on which operating system you can run and on which operating system you can do this and that. You can choose for the backup server any Windows, any Linux system. You can take a look on our support metrics, and you will see you can always pick your favorite operating system to install a SEP server on it. The SEP server comes with a SQLite database, so it's very fast, and you don't have to prepare something before you can start with the installation. On the Linux side, you can install a Postgre database for more analytics or maybe web hosting calculations and stuff like that. This is what you can do. What's very important for you to see is that you can handle, pretty much every environment with SEP. When I go here, just through components topology, this is the first point where you can add all your clients and all your servers to do, a reliable backup of it. And then you see we have here virtualization. Virtualization is at the moment Citrix, we have ESX, ESX standalone, vSphere, we have Hyper-V, we have VMware, we have the the open source XAN. This comes with an LVM snapshot tool because for let me say for the SUSE XAN, we don't have a real backup API. But what you can do is, for free, just make logical volume snapshots. Here, of course, Microsoft environments like SharePoint. We have databases, DB2, Oracle. We have, I think, pretty much everything. What you can have in your environment. The second step is the data store. With SEP, it's very easy to connect to any type of disk storage. The only thing you have to do is to create a new data store. Just type in the name, let me say SAN disk 1. It's very important you don't have to install special drivers or some tools on top. You can just go ahead with creating a new data store. Here you can choose what kind of data store you want to create. You want to create this SEP Easy Archive, the disk warm, what you can just write once and read many, as the name is telling you. Or you can also use our new deduplication storage. That's very cool. You can choose any disk device, and just because of selecting this storage type, everything what you send to the backup server will be deduped. In the brand new technology, it's very fast. I think this is the most important features of the SEP Cesium deduplication, that it's very fast, and also during a restore. Because when you do tests with other deduplication solutions, then you will see that the backup performance is great and everything is great. But during the restore, because of putting all the blocks together, the performance goes down sometimes to a third of that what you had, during the backup. And this can, break your restore window, what you are allowed to have in a company. So that's the reason why you should test this and see how good it works. Yeah, and here he's asking you on which box you installed my disk. So this is the next signal I can send to you. You can do offsite backup. You can install the SEP server or a remote device server in a public cloud, in a private cloud, in a data center. So the only thing you need is TCP/IP between all these different components, and then you can decide, okay, my daily Exchange backup or my daily notes backup, I want to, do in my main location, and after that I start a replication in my private cloud. So, and when my main location, burns down or something bad happens, I have my remote location available and can start with a restore directly from there. Okay, so this is what you can do with a device server. Just install an agent, select after that this single client here, and and then you can browse into the structure. Or let me use, I don't know, do I have something? Yeah, let me see what I have here. Just browse into the system, the e-partition. If this is your backup storage, just select the e-partition. He displays you, how much free disk space you have, and this little feature works for terabyte storages. These are, the magic backup channels. So when you really have to do a quick backup, with a little time window or with a little backup time window, then you should use and live this parallel stream functionality. So here you can just enter 60, and the Cesium server will perform 60 parallel backup streams at the same time. And this is amazing because it works. You can mix VMware backups, you can mix it with Citrix, you can mix it with Linux, you can mix it with Windows, you can put all these different vendors together, on one backup server, and the Cesium server will take care that everything goes in the right way. Okay, so this is the way how you can configure your disk storage. The next one is tape libraries. Of course, we support tape libraries, small ones, big ones, tape libraries who are, bigger than someone's living room, everything. And it starts just here with adding a new loader, and here we have to, oh sorry, my remote connection has a little graphic, but I have here my second backup server. It's not a big deal. The only thing you have to do is type in the name, the SCSI ID, the device server, and the ports. And then you can drive a very big or a small tape library. We support at the moment, I think, every tape device at the market, because we don't have to set up our own drivers. So as my colleague and I already told you, when you want to drive with a tape library or a tape drive, just ask the operating system manufacturer if this tape drive is supported. That's everything. If yes, we can, write data on it. Drives, here you can set up single tape drives, you can set up RDX cartridges, you can set up RDX libraries. Everything what's not handled with data stores and tape libraries, you can set up here and use it as a tape storage. Tasks by clients, that's the next section. Also very comfortable. You just set up locations, like I did, like Citrix Zen. In reality, it's maybe building 1, building 2, cellar, server room 1, private cloud, that you have an overview, which client is located in which location, and but this is something, what you can choose by your own, or what you should handle very well, because then it's very easy for your colleagues or for someone else, in case you have not the time to perform resource, to jump in and go ahead. So this is a Citrix Xenserver. Let me see. I just jumped into a new backup task. Instead of fill out task names and backup types, I just tried to browse this machine, and after a while, I should see here my my Citrix master. That's very easy when you have a standalone installation. Then the only one Citrix Xenserver is the master. When you have a cluster environment, you have to connect to the master. When the master switches for any reason, SEP system will follow to the new one, to perform your backup. We have also backup types, for the host backup from the Xenserver, for the metadata, just in case, the database on the Xenserver gets corrupt or something like that. You can select here, all your VMs. We do an online backup. We bring them with the VSS writers in a consistent state, so you never have to be scared, that maybe nothing inside the VM is, backed up in a perfect way. So just select the VM, agree with OK. You will see he adds a task name for you. He selects the right backup type, and the source, in this example, is the name of the VM. Some new features, some hot add features. You can put your task directly here in a task group, because maybe you already set it up some task groups and put these task groups below schedule. So the only thing you have to do when your environment grows is set up a task and put it here in the right task group. That's it. Agree with OK, and perfect, done. Here, our new NetApp agent. So when you have a NetApp and you want to have a backup, which is not, let me say, that unflexible like the solutions you can have now for NetApp, then you can choose our new technology. With this new technology, you can do a very, very fast backup of multiple LUNs in the same time. This is the view to our NetApp, for example. And what you can do is you can just select a LUN, and we do a snapshot of the LUN with NetApp features. We mount the snapshot, do a consistent backup of that, and now the cool feature is you can recover your files also to a, let me say, to a standalone Linux system. You don't have to recreate everything back to your NetApp. Of course you can, sure. When your LUN breaks for any reason, you can do a recovery of the LUN. But one of the good features with SEP is that you don't have to recover everythh back to the NetApp. So you can also restore it directly to one of your Linux clients or to your Windows clients. So this is, a great feature. At the moment, we support NFS and SIFs. So yeah, great tool, very flexible, very fast. Another cool feature is, yeah, I don't know. Of course, we support every Linux system. Here is I don't know what it is. I think it's a /11. When you browse into a /11, you get presented the whole, the whole path structure. You get presented, here is a MySQL database, a PostgreSQL database installed. You can, just select that, and he takes care on all your databases, what you added below the PostgreSQL service. Yeah. I think it speaks for itself. It's very easy, and at the end of the day, you can put all that together in task groups like VMs, in task group like files, or maybe another task group. What would make sense is databases, and then you can just put all your database backups into the task group. So sorry, I have to select one first. Of course, this is not everything a database backup, but I just want to show you how you can set up groups, that you don't have to schedule each single task by itself. And here, with the arrow keys, you can make different, not priorities, but you can choose which backup task should start first. This is very important because in every company, you have internal priorities like, okay, for me, as the administrator in this example, it's very important to do a backup of all the VMs first. For another administrator, it's maybe more important to do the database backup first. Okay, so you can handle, all these different meetings here in with task groups. And at the end, when you set up your task groups, like we did it now, you can go to schedules. Okay, a schedule can be very easy. Something like, I just will set up a new one that you see how easy it is. I say database backup, Monday to Friday, I don't know, 8 p.m. Okay, and then I say, okay, the schedule should start from Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. Okay, so great, agree with okay. So now we have the schedule here, and the next thing I will do is I select new backup event. I say full, a differential, incremental, or a copy backup. This is what I can choose here. I can select my media pool. I put it here very quick on my test pool, and then I can select my task group database. You remember, this was the task group we added before and put all the single tasks into, and now I can say every single task what's below the task group databases should be started with the backup type full on my media pool test pool. Okay? And I say okay. So this is how easy you can set up a big, scheduling structure, and very easy for your environment. So what we typically do is setting up here, as I did, a task group for my file backups first, and then for my database backups, and then you should set up, a third one for your virtual guests or for your virtual systems. It doesn't matter if it's a Citrix or Vmware or a Hyper-V. The main thing is that you put everything below a schedule, and then you are safe. The next thing is migrations. This is also very important. With a migration task, you can do, let me say, tested copies from one disk storage to another disk storage. So when you do your daily backup on a storage with a name NFS Store 2, for example, then you can do a migration at the next day to a destination called Test Pool, or to a destination called Disk Pool 2. Okay, the trick is when you have one, let me say, one very fast storage, you can hold your data on the storage for 14 days or for a longer time, and then you can start migrations to tape, or to a, let me say, to a different type of disk storage, so that you know your hot backups, or all the backups of the last 14 days are on a storage which is very fast. So in case of a recovery, it takes only seconds. And when you need something else, from storage, or from 2 or 3 months ago, you can just connect, to your second storage where you started the migrations on, and do the restore from this pool tool. That works for deduplication as well. So you can do a backup first to an initial, maybe smaller disk, and then start a migration into a deduplication storage. So the cool thing is, when you start every day a full backup on an initial storage and replicate it to the dedup storage, then the dedup storage will just keep the delta from every day. It will not keep the full backup. It just takes care on the delta, and this gives you the possibility to keep daily states of backups forever, because the delta of a day is maybe the unique attachment of an email, a new document, some new programs. But when there is already a part of the program written on a dedup storage, then it will just keep the delta of the new program. So it's very flexible what you can do here. And you have also here, but maybe this is a better example for you. When we take a look here into events, you can see, all that, what happens next. So this gives you, again, a good overview of what happens next. So in case you have hardware changes, or you have to do something with the power in your data center, you can exactly say, okay, my next backup starts at 6:10 p.m. So you have time till 6 o'clock and can do whatever you want to do. Okay, of course we have a calendar sheet, so this is very comfortable when you want to know, hey, what happens on Tuesday the 13th. You can just click on that, make a double click on this task, on this successful task, and jump into the main log. So, and then you can tell your internal revision what happens, or what was the failure, or so you have a great overview of everything what happened in the past, and of everything, of course, what happens in the future. So you see here the state is gray. Gray means it's just planned, but it's you have to wait for tomorrow that it will get green or red. And yeah, this is a calendar sheet. Backup states, you have a ton of monitoring functions to really get sure that the backup of everything was successful. And if not, the only thing you have to do is double click a backup, jump into the main log, and here you can perfectly see, that he did a backup size of so many bytes, and he automatically generates a checksum, after that, so that you really can be sure that each single task was successfully written on your storage. Okay, so I think this is a good overview. Let's put the steps together. You can do deduplication. You can get single files out of vSphere VM. You can do multiple backups to offsite places, to private clouds, to data centers, and I think that makes this solution very flexible. And of course, we have test support. So when you want to test the software, just give us a call. We will give you all the links, what you need, to download the software, and then you can play for 30 days for free.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, and Amy, if we can switch back over to my screen real quick, I'll put some information up there. So if anyone has any questions or would like to contact us directly and have an evaluation copy or have a trial copy, you can either go to www.sepusa.com and download a trial version, or contact us directly. We're more than happy to kind of help, configure things initially for a proof of concept, or, answer any questions that you have. Maybe you have questions specific to your infrastructure. We're more than happy to work with you and talk to you about that. So, the one thing that I will point out, I think a lot of folks are, sometimes hesitant. Maybe they've had bad experiences in the past when switching backup software, and I think, backup software isn't something that's an extremely hot topic usually. It's usually just a necessary evil that people have in their environment, and it's not the latest and greatest technology. Sometimes virtual technology is more exciting and stuff like that, but it is definitely a cornerstone of a business. And I think with SEP, one thing that's different about our solution is we make it extremely easy to convert over to a new solution. It's not something that takes weeks or months or years to do. It's something that we can do an installation. We've had folks that we've switched over completely from scratch into production in half a day. And decent sized environments with 100 servers or more, mixed virtual physical databases. So it doesn't have to be a long, painful, drawn out process. It's something that we can implement extremely easily and get people switched over. So Amy, I'm not sure if we have any time for Q&A. So if we do, we can go through some of those. If not, if you guys want to send us questions directly, we'd be more than happy.
Perfect. We do have a few minutes left for Q&A. Now, Lanai, if you wanted to show your screen, you can just share, and then we can see those links that you were referring to.
Oh, I apologize.
If you wanted to share your desktop again. Thanks.
Yep, gotcha. Okay. Is that better?
Yes, that's perfect.
Oops. Hold on. Back to link. Okay. So that's how to contact us. Apologize about that.
All right. Perfect. No, that's fine. So again, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A. I do have a question here. I believe this was when Christian was demoing. The question is, XEN backups via LVM snapshots implies that DOM use storage must be an LV-backed block device. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct. We hope that in the future we can also cover Xen backups, not Citrix Xen backups, but we have to wait for an API. But till this moment, when you have LVM file system structure on the DOM 0, you can create backup tasks for each single directory where your virtual guest sits on, and just do a snapshot.
Okay, perfect. The next question, do you have an ETA on when Sybase backups will be supported?
For Sybase, no, not yet. The only thing we have is pre and post interface for backup tasks, so you can just generate a consistent dump what you write to the file system, and then we grab this file and bring it to the backup, and the same way back. But we work on Sybase. I think Sybase is one of one of the two databases we do not support at the moment, but we will take care that we can offer there something very soon. But as I told you,
I think that is on our roadmap, right, Christian?
Yeah, it's on the roadmap, and at the moment you can use our pre and post interfaces for free, and it works great. So.
Okay, and yeah, I think that is on the roadmap for later in the fourth quarter this year or first quarter next year.